The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more developed by a gamer for gamers and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts.
Happy Wednesday, everybody, or Tuesday if you happen to be an early release Patreon member, or happy whatever day it is that you're listening to Red Dirt D&D. This is Brooke, aka Moran Stone Shaper, just taking a special moment to thank all of you who are interacting with us on Facebook and Twitter, and of course the Patreon Discord server. It is great to see your gifts and to read your thoughts and your reactions to this story as it unfolds before us, sometimes taking unexpected twists and turns that even we, the players, didn't have any idea was going to happen. If you have a question or a comment about character background or character choices or maybe the world of Ratoya or some concept within 5e D&D or RPGs in general, we would love to hear that. So email us at reddirtdnd@gmail.com or find us on Facebook or Twitter at reddirtdnd. And of course, please share and post your favorite episodes to your social media sites for your friends and your family. Give us a review. No spoilers. Very important, you chaotic minions out there. No spoilers. But give us a review that bumps us up in the algorithms and just makes it possible for more and more people to join us in this wagon train of adventure out to the Caliban frontier. Thank you guys for listening, and we hope that you have a great day. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gideon Block, a paladin of Daga, bringing her justice to the wilds of Ratoya.
I'm Konnor Shenold, and I play Konnor with a K, the kobold sorcerer who's finally out of the bag.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play Xonimus Dinar, the roguish warlock, controlling his fate with chaos.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a high-born halfling druid who has forsaken her family for the call of the frontier.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Moran Stone Shaper, a young dwarf sorcerer wielding his arcane gifts to delve into the mysteries of the wilderness.
And I'm Ash King, your dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Caliban frontier. The Jumpin Jackalope provides a welcome respite from the events of the last few days. Gideon, Moran, Poppy, and Konnor. You all find yourselves sitting around one of the round wooden tables that normally hosts friendly card games at the Jackalope, where Jubilee has set down your afternoon meal. As you are taking your repast and recovering from the events in the pillars, wondering if and or when your good friend Xonimus would awaken from the stupor that he has fallen into. The saloon doors open very quietly. You're all lost in your own thoughts, so you don't even really think to look up. Until Gideon, sitting with your back to the door, your hood suddenly flips up over the top of your head. And you feel a hand drift down to your gun belt, drawing forth your favorite revolver.
I jump up and I look around, and it takes me a moment, and I kind of squint. He's got his hat down, but I would recognize that person anywhere. And I say, Zonnie? And you see this huge smile come across my face. And he says, Zonnie, you're awake. And then I realize who I'm around. And I say, Xonimus, it's good to have you back amongst us, and I put out my hand to shake yours.
The gun that I pulled from you, I will spin it around and push it into your chest, handle first, pointing back at me. I'll reach out for your hand and say, you're in my seat. I'm going to grab your hand and pull you in and hug you. Slap, slap on the back.
And,
As I do this, I'm taking a little shift around to my left, shifting you around a little bit. And when I let go, I'm standing in front of your chair now.
And I say, well, you just go ahead and have your seat, and I take back my gun, put it in my holster, and as I'm sitting down, I just whisper into your ear in Elvish, welcome back, brother. And then I say, hey, my friend here needs a drink.
Yeah, you got a thunderweave to get a drink in this place. And I'm going to sit down and put an elbow on the table and just lean in Papa's direction.
You seriously say that?
Yeah.
That's cold.
Cold.
She's not gonna look up because now you're like mad at her. Yeah, I don't look up. I'm just gonna continue looking down at my plate and pushing the food around. I haven't really been eating, but now my cheeks are red.
Jubilee sweeps over to the bar, pulls out one of those fine bottles of whiskey that they keep behind the bar, picks up a glass, brings it over, sets it down in front of you, pours out a shot, leans over and whispers into your ear, howdy, stranger. It's good seeing you back amongst the living.
I notice you're in an upright position.
I am.
That's an improvement since the last time I saw you.
You still see a few hints of cuts and bruises, but for the most part, they seem to be recovering.
I'm going to reach out to the shot glass and start patting pockets. You got this, Giddy?
Oh, actually, I think Konnor's playing for this one today.
That's right. Next round's on me, guys. And I kind of perk up a little bit so you can actually see my head fully from probably where it was covered by the table. Legs are dangling from where I'm sitting, kicking them back and forth, and I just give you a big, wide, toothy grin. Hey, Xonimus, you're finally awake.
Oh.
You're a real old sleeping beauty over there. For a couple of days now, I think. How long has it been?
It's a few hours.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
No,
it's been a couple of
day.
days since he actually went down.
Okay.
Lots changed. Lots happened.
Thanks, stranger.
Oh, there's no reason in faking this one. We know about you and Konnor and the bag.
On our best friendship.
All right, well, I would like to toast to an apology. I don't know if I'm giving it to Konnor or the rest of you, but cheers.
Well, we've been on a little bit of an adventure since you've fallen asleep. We took care of Anarchy. You remember him. He's the one that was trying to take care of Poppy. Is Jubilee still around? Have they gone back to the bar, or are they still here with us?
They were kind of hovering a little bit as you guys were talking. However, when you do start to talk about Anarchy, you do notice that Jubilee excuses himself and goes over to the bar.
Jubilee. I'm gonna hold up 2 fingers, point at me, and I'm gonna point at Poppy.
Jubilee will give a little smirk and a little nod and walk back over with the whiskey.
So we found out that you already knew that Anarchy was Jubilee's brother, but there's a little more that you probably didn't know about.
I did not know that.
Did we know that?
We had a good idea.
You knew it was a tiefling.
Confirmed.
Yeah, you knew it was a
Respected.
tiefling.
We knew it was.
You knew it was the same skin color as Jubilee.
And we knew that it was highly probable that they were related. That's what I got from my history check.
Then I think you might have heard Jubilee mention that Anarchy was their brother.
I never heard Jubilee speak
Yeah, you got true confirmation
while I was down.
while you were down, but I think you might have heard something about them being siblings.
Okay, so Jubilee is related. Anarchy was their brother, and apparently Anarchy might have been more involved, and Jubilee might have been more involved with Poppy's father than we thought. And the history goes back quite a ways with Jubilee and the Tea Leaf family.
That's so.
Yeah.
Let's look into the shot glass. That's real interesting. Well, I see, Poppy, you made it out all right.
Poppy was the bravest of all of us. She took down Anarchy.
She heard a cougar. It was amazing. I thought she couldn't do anything like that.
So, Poppy took him down, huh?
Oh, don't be shy. You were amazing. You were fantastic. We wouldn't have gotten out of there without you.
You wouldn't have been in the mess without me either.
Oh, well, that's probably true.
Yeah, you know what? We are all responsible for our actions, and our actions have consequences, and our actions trigger certain things and certain events. My memory is a little bit fuzzy from what you guys are telling me. Last thing I remember is Poppy was willingly going with Anarchy. And you tell me that she's overpowered him in the form of a, what do you say? Cougar?
Yeah, I told you a lot's changed.
We found the badge of Anarchy and his position with the Tea Leaf family. And we're going to send that back to Alistair, basically with a message. And I was actually thinking, Poppy, I think you'd be the perfect person to write that message.
Oh, really? Because my father has definitely listened to me.
Well, I think he'll listen if you're sending back one of his lieutenant's badges covered in blood.
Yeah, if you say, hey, I killed this guy, stop sending people after me, that's gotta change his opinion, right?
I think we need to mention that the last stop and the Caliban frontier is protected.
I want to use prestidigitation.
Okay.
I want to send you secret notes.
Okay.
We have Discord.
The internet.
This food that she's kicking around on this plate while she's acting like I'm not in the room smells terrible. It stinks so bad. Do you want to describe that to her?
Yeah, so Poppy, all of a sudden, as you're just kind of like poking around on the plate, it's just a whiff of that, like, the milk's gone bad, that's sickly, sour.
I'm gonna push my plate away and hop down from my chair because it's been established that Jubilee has size-inclusive seating.
Yes, they do. There are steps on the chairs. It's easy to get up and down.
So I'm gonna hop down from my chair.
I'm going to slide the plate in front of me and start eating it because I have not eaten what seems like days.
It's fine. I'm gonna walk around the table. As I pass Xonimus, I'm just gonna pat him on the arm and say, I'm glad you're all right. I guess I have a letter to write, and leave.
Oh.
Well, hold up. Where are you going?
I have to go write a letter, apparently, and I'm not stopping.
It can wait.
Nope. You have made her feel very bad, so she is leaving. She's gonna go hang out with Yazgash and Wildfire.
Xonimus, let her go. She's got her own things to work out, and I'm sure you do too. And what happened to you?
And with that, Mockrin has stopped, like, just feeding his face. He's just looking down at the plate, just feeding his face, not looking up, the side glance when Poppy gets up, and then just feeding his face just the whole time. With that, he actually stops and looks up.
I don't even know where to begin. Hey, you remember those handprints?
On something?
The big banners, the eternal
Yeah, the
thing.
banners.
Yeah, the one that old Aldonza had in her tent. Yeah. Yeah.
So, that is... What did we just say that was?
That was the Empire of the Eternal Flame.
Right. Well, I was there.
I'm sorry, you were there?
With the Empire of the Eternal Flame. The Emperor's daughter, in fact. It's all very confusing.
This happens sometimes when there's a cave-in and people get hit in the head real hard.
Aldonza was there. Healthy as could be. I think she was a pet, but she acted like she was in charge. But then the Emperor's daughter was there, and this really intriguing elf. And what was the question?
Well, what had happened to you, and apparently, so their vision quest kind of sent you into a different time? Was it real, or was it?
Yeah, it was real. I mean, I don't know if it was real. Well,
which is it?
I learned to do a few things in the vision quest.
Do things?
Yeah, like, and I'll flick my hand around, and it's bluish, glowy orb flame is bouncing around in it. I couldn't do this before.
Natural 20 on an arcane.
Oh, buddy. Oh, dang.
No worms.
Okay. Xonimus did not do magic before, could not do magic before. All of a sudden he can do magic?
Yeah. And I recognize it as...
Has he made a deal?
So where'd you get your magic from?
Rub my arm with a coyote tattoo on it.
So is it divine?
I don't know if it's my magic, but I'm using it.
So it's more like a gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, we'll say gift. There was an exchange.
Through Sneaky Coyote.
So yeah, it was a deal.
Konnor kind of turns to Mockra and is like, are you getting any of this? I'm lost. What's happening?
Yeah, so there's all kinds of magic. There's divine magic that comes from gods.
Yeah.
And then there's also like our magic. It just comes from within us like a thing. But every now and then there are people that can make a contract, like a pact with things. And sometimes those go real south.
You just don't have natural magic? Lame.
So when Konnor looks over and says, so you don't have natural magic? From behind you, Mockering, you hear
You just don't have natural magic?
like his same voice and everything, but it's coming from behind you.
My dice are hot today. Like that, you hear that? He's like prestidigitation some sounds and stuff behind us.
You get cantrips? Oh.
Who
Daga doesn't love you that
the
much.
coyote you said?
Yeah, this coyote and someone else was there. They talked to the coyote about me, not really addressing me too much.
So, from what I know about this kind of thing, Zani, and you notice he pauses there for a second as Zani came out. It's like, what kind of deal was it? Like, what do you think you had to give in return?
Well, that depends who's telling it. We have some unfinished business with someone from my past, and Coyote is tasked me with cleaning this mess up.
Is it Smokes?
It is Smokes. It is Wiley.
Smile.
Which we need to go after him anyway because he has part of the journal. He's going to realize there's some missing and he's going to come back for it. And that's going to put the town in danger. The best thing when you're putting the town in danger is to maybe get out of town so the danger doesn't follow you. I wish there were people who could hear those words.
And you were saying about the Empire of the Eternal Flames.
Yeah, what is
Gone.
that?
They're gone.
What is this empire?
So back when you were at the McKee family, right?
Yeah.
We went and took care of this Lamia named Aldonza, who was working for the Eternal Flame Empire. But
She's like a half lion, half centaur thing.
What?
Tough as nails.
they're long gone. Maybe remnants of them. Do you think they're still around?
We saw the banners in Aldonza's tent, and Aldonza said that she was working for someone else, if you remember.
Right.
So, some splinter of them is still seeking power.
Do you think the Caliban's in danger from them?
I believe that. They were looking for the entrance to the Temple of Nightmare. Imagine if they'd have got it.
Right. Well, yeah, we'd already talked about how dangerous they could have been if they could have destroyed Nightmare in his sleeping state.
Or harness his power.
Right. So maybe this is something we need to be looking into as well. And taking care of Smokes. Well, taking care of him however we need to take care of him.
Yeah, we need to end him.
How connected do you think Smokes might be to this Eternal Flame?
I don't know if he is directly connected to it, but I feel like he wants to be.
If he's hunting for them to, like, hook up power or something, or offer his services, that could be bad news.
Okay, then why are we still here? Let's go.
Well, first off, I think we probably need to head out in the morning because while you were sleeping, we fought a worm.
Oh, it's huge. It is a sandworm. It had, like, this bulwark of a head. Knocked Gideon clean out. We thought he was dead for a minute.
Worm, huh?
It was monstrous. Konnor with the K, he says that it wasn't a real dragon. But
No. It's one of those imitation dragons.
Felt like a dragon.
Great Value brand dragon.
It hit me like a dragon. That's all I gotta say.
The rest of us got out fine, but
Gideon did his thing. He went charging in on Thunderstep, and then all of a sudden, bam, it just knocked him clean senseless, and then his tail slipped around and went, and like got him with the poison, and tried to poison me, but didn't
Don't
happen.
rag on Gideon too hard.
Oh, I,
Anybody who's brave enough to charge down a sandworm, they're all right in my book.
I don't think you got a chance to charge.
Thank you, Jubilee. And I gotta tell you, I didn't know anything after that, but apparently, without you and I, Xonimus, Jubilee, Poppy, Konnor, and Macron took this thing down. I don't even know how they did it, but I gotta give them props.
Jubilee just gives you a little smile. It's a little sadder than smiles you've seen them give before, but their tail just kind of flicks as they disappear behind the bar for a moment.
So yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Konnor. What are we doing here? I think we need to take a moment to rest and recoup and head out in the morning. Where are we going? Do you have any idea where Wiley's gone?
Anything in that journal leading up to the pages you have?
And the pages that I've got show some old temple, but no mention of where Wiley would have gone. What about you in his past? Any kind of old hideout?
Yes, there was a temple, indeed. I vaguely remember how to get to it. There was an orc that found me. If he's still around, if his people are still in the same spot, he might be able to lead us right to it. My memory of that event, getting there and how I left there and where exactly it was is real shaky.
Okay. What about the original hideout?
Oh, those never lasted long.
Well, we could go north again, back out toward the pillars, and onward from there. Although there was the rumor of something in the pillars. Maybe that was a sandworm.
Jubilee looks back at you all and kind of leaning on the bar and says, so one of the things about the pillars is that they are known for the population of sandworms that hunts around there. So you fought one.
There are more than one.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, I had my fill of those, so let's not go that way.
And well, south is the McKees. What if we just go straight west?
I think we might need to go northwest toward the Great Mother River.
I'm trying to remember from the night of the dinner. We knew what direction he left, right?
He took off.
It was one of those things. By the time you guys had got out there and had kind of run into town, run into Riza, found out about what happened at the jail, he was gone, and yeah, you not quite sure which way he took off and where he was headed. So.
As characters, do we know about Northreach, the one that's way up there?
Yes.
Okay.
So any of the major cities that are on the map that you guys have in the campaign guide, you are all aware of those.
Gotcha.
And I'm also adding in another one that you are aware of. There is also one called Junction City.
Do we go straight west?
I mean, if you guys have gone north and south, why not just go
Well, the
west?
only reason I was thinking about northwest. Let's go to the Great Mother River and follow the Great Mother River and further into the wilds.
Sure.
Well, if y'all head straight to the west, y'all are going to hit Fort Russian Water. Now, Moran, I'm surprised that you don't recall Fort Russian Water.
Is it the one that's right there at the fork, and then you got the big lake down on the way?
Yeah, it's part of the line. You know, the dwarven forts out on the frontier.
It may have been at a moment whenever I wasn't as privy to information in, the extension of the rail line. There was a time whenever I was doing some deep work down in the tunnels and stuff.
There's a whole mess of them, these dwarven forts. Russian Water is straight west from here. I mean, it's about a week's travel into the frontier. But then there's Fort Icebreaker by Northreach. Yes, the dwarves have been trying to break out into the frontier for years now.
What about the Ghost Elves? Well, there was talk about looking up for them as well.
Ghost Elves. Now, I've heard, so there's a canyon along the Great Mother River that some of the travelers talk about. Dark Canyon, because of how deep it goes. But I've heard that they can be found around there, which, come to think of it, it's not too far away from Fort Russian Water.
What direction is that west?
Due west.
So I'm going to remember from the pillars where I was picked up and taken to the ship, and then the ship started to move. Mm-hmm. Which way did we move?
When you were on the sky ship, in your vision, was starting to head due north.
I keep that to myself. I just run it through my head.
Well, and actually, as a player-to-player, it might be interesting to go see if we could find if this thing actually crashed. There would probably be stuff if that actually happened.
Yeah, there could still
It would just be interesting to see if it actually happened.
So if it was heading, so again, we're just going to player stuff. If it were heading north, that means eventually it was going to be heading toward the Great Mother River. And I look over at Jubilee and say, how close is the Fort Russian Water to the Great Mother River? Does it flow to it?
It's right on.
Why don't we try this? Why don't we go north to the Great Mother River from here down? Instead of just going willy-nilly west, we're actually following a landmark.
Gotta love a paladin with a map and a plan.
I got a plan. Let's do this thing. What do you think, Macron?
Roll me a insight check.
Hey, that's my job.
I was gonna say,
I was going to say, because that's not very good.
I need a little guidance for
Level
the
us
role
up
play
again.
I
here.
got an 8.
It seems like that sounds good.
He seems perfectly okay with that.
You're a little worried about Fort Russian Water.
He's a lot worried about
I
Fort
thought so.
Russian Water.
We might change our plan on the way there, but I think that's a good plan. Konnor,
But Gideon doesn't know that.
yeah, Konnor, I'd like to keep you in our party here. You coming along with us?
Sure. Why not? This town's getting boring anyway.
Yeah. We should get ready. We've got all our stuff packed up, and I say we should start heading out.
Hey there, Kiri here. Do you ever wonder what goes on behind the mic on recording day? What about behind the scenes in our Discord server? Want to pick Ash's brain about how to be a better DM? Wish you could play with them? Well, have I got the idea for you? Join our Patreon. We have several giving levels to fit every budget. You can have all these things and more, including swag, as well as early access to episodes and merch. Head over to patreon.com/reddirtdnd for more info. And remember, my friends, trust everyone, but always cut the cards yourself.
While our erstwhile heroes are sitting in the Jumpin Jackalope working on their plans for the next way forward, Poppy, I think we need to talk. So you've headed out of the Jackalope.
Yes.
Where are you going from there?
I will go to see Yazgash, and presumably that's probably where Wildfire is as well. I don't keep I don't make him hang out with me.
He's actually found himself a nice patch of sunshine and has just flopped on it. Actually, you see him, as you're watching him, he rolls over onto his belly, flopping all around and just soaking up some nice rays. And you do see Yazgash next to him, just leaning back, arms behind the head, just, this is the life, as they say.
I'm just gonna lay down with them. I'm not really gonna say anything, just kind of lay down and enjoy the sun and think about what I want to put in this letter that I apparently have to write.
Yazgash cracks open an eye. You know, I can feel your vibes.
I don't want to get straight face.
Come here, vibe check. And Yazgash just grabs you, sits up, puts you in her lap, and just sits there and holds you and just rocks. What is the problem? You cannot lie to me.
So I guess I'll just give her the down and dirty, but I'm not going to reveal that Jubilee was part of the tea leaf. I'm going to say we found out that my dad's business was a lot bigger than it was, and I probably would attribute that information coming from Anarchy.
So the man who your father sent to find you and to take you back home, and you don't want to go home because home is terrible, I understand. It's terrible feeling when home is terrible. But you won. You did what you had to do.
But my dad's a bad man.
And?
Anarchy will not be the last. He's just going to send somebody else out.
You deal with that when it comes up. But you don't know if that will happen. Maybe he will take message of, oh, hey, this big bad Anarchy. I kick his butt.
I don't know about that. I really just came in there at the end.
Who walked away from that fight?
Listen, if we're attributing the winners of the fight to the person who gets in the last blow versus the person
Who walked away from that fight?
I guess we did.
But specifically who?
Not Xonimus.
Poppy.
Yeah, I guess she did.
Yes. You, Poppy, the brave, the fearless, the warrior, walked away from that fight. Or is she still sitting in those pillars, moping?
Guess a little bit of that, I guess. He was a person.
He was, but he made his choices.
But they were part of, although he and Jubilee weren't necessarily getting along, they cared about each other. They had a past, and I had an opportunity to not. He was giving up. He wasn't going to take me. He was going to leave, and I ran him down.
He was leaving. Yes, I can tell you. Men like that don't stay gone. You did what you had to do, Poppy, and I don't think anyone will blame you. I think if Jubilee blamed you, then you would not be here talking to me. Trust me, I have seen that tiefling do some things that I am very jealous of.
I believe they said something similar about you.
And we have mutual understanding, yes. I do not mess in Jubilee's business. Jubilee does not mess with my business. We live happily.
I don't know if Xonimus is going to forgive me, though.
That man is an orc. Well, half of an orc. But there's one thing I know. For men like Xonimus, they understand more than they say.
I've only known these men for a week, and I didn't really understand how much Xonimus meant to me until I saw his head hit that rock and I didn't see him move. And Anarchy picked me up on his shoulder and we just started running, and the last thing that I saw was just them laying on the ground. And I tried to see, to make sure, and I figured between Gideon and Jubilee that he'd be okay, but I don't know. Maybe it's time that I leave the group. I don't know if I can be around Xonimus if he can't forgive me. something changed between us and I can't explain it and I can't understand it, but it's there and it's palpable and I'm not sure.
I can see where the conflict comes from. The conflict comes from the fact you are here talking to me and not talking to him.
I can't talk to him. He's mad at me. He hates me.
Do you know that?
I mean, he didn't say those words exactly, but that's what he said. That's what he said. He was mad that I thunder waved him, even though I did it because I was trying to keep him from being hurt.
You know, we orcs tell a story. It's a good story. Best story.
How many stories? This is like the 10th orc story. Does this one have to do with rivers?
No. No, we tell a story, yes, of the little orc who wanted to ride an auroch, yes? You see, the little orc, her parents always told her, you do not mess with the auroch. The auroch is big. The auroch is dangerous. Do not mess with the auroch. But the little one was always fascinated by the creature, by the power, by the majesty, and had always seen the orc warriors who bravely leapt upon the backs of the aurochs, ride them into glorious battle. She wanted to do that, so she did. She went. She leapt upon the back of the auroch, and she held on for dear life. Yes, she fell off. Yes, she got hurt. But she got back up, and she did it again, ignoring completely the words of the elders. But it was only in the perseverance that she mastered the auroch and became the bravest and fiercest auroch warrior that any of the tribes have ever seen. So, are you just going to listen when they say to push Poppy away? That Poppy cannot do anything, that Poppy continues to hurt? Or are you going to persevere?
I just don't rightly know what I'm even doing out here. I mean, there was the thing when there was the camp, and then there was a goddess. They didn't give me any.
Maybe it's time to turn this off. And Yazgash taps very gently the side of your head. Maybe it's time to stop using this and start using this, as she points to your heart. You are thinking too much. It's time to feel. What do you feel when you think about that place, that city, glass, where no living thing grows? And then what do you think? And what do you feel when you look out there? When you go out there into that wild place where there are things that no living person has touched, has seen, has controlled.
It just seems a bit foolish to just wander into the desert without a direction.
But you are druid.
Okay.
That's kind of what we do.
I haven't tried that one yet.
Guarantee you can do it. You can call out to the animals and get them to do your bidding.
I did do that one. There's a vulture out there with a message.
See, you are not so small and helpless. And oh, woe is Poppy. Poppy cannot do anything. Poppy continues to mess up. So what? Everybody messes up. I mess up all the time.
I don't think it's as much of I'm messing up as I can't be everywhere at once. I can't protect everybody at once. I can't go out there and leave the last stop unguarded.
Who says you are leaving this place unguarded? You have only been here for 3 days.
But
I think Riza would take offense. And she has a big shotgun.
Did that stop Anarchy?
Anarchy was out from the pillars. He was not our problem. We just didn't know who he was. I mean, that is fair, but at the same time, perhaps Jubilee was protecting what they love.
I've had exactly one conversation with Jubilee ever.
If the things with the tea leaf people were as bad as you say, and Jubilee had some sort of knowledge of that was protection.
I guess.
You do not have to know someone for long to know that you love them and you want to protect them.
So I guess I have a letter to write and a couple of apologies to make, huh?
That sounds like what you need to do. But I cannot tell you what to do. I am just going to lay here and soak up some more of this beautiful sunshine. It's a glorious day. You should try it sometime.
I mean, sure. So she will also enjoy a sun catnap.
What are the rest of you doing?
The only thing else, I did actually want to go to the cathedral again.
Okay, we're talking more like, that old school one room, pews to the door, shrines up front.
I just want to walk in and so I talked to Father Donovan. Say, Father, if you don't mind, I just need to take some time to pray, if I could?
Of course, my child.
I just want to kneel down and send up prayers to the Daga. Things are changing, my lady, and I don't know exactly where they're headed. Feel more like I'm leading this group somewhere we don't know. And so I'm just asking you for guidance as I take this crew with us into areas that we've never been before. And so, my lady, I know you've got our hand on this party, and apparently you're not alone in the divine machinations going on. Whatever you can do to help us, we're just trying to do your bidding out here.
You sit there in front of the shrine to Daga. You feel at peace. You feel that presence and that quiet in your soul. You don't get a direct response, but it's almost too convenient as you hear the whinny of a horse outside. And it's almost as if you're meant to hear that sound. Looking to one of the windows, you see arriving in town are two humans. One, she's got, the long duster, hat, short brown hair, cropped. The other is a human man, cloaked and robed. He's got his hood pulled really far down over his face. But these two arrive, and you see trailing behind them what look to be a couple of prisoners as they are headed towards the jail.
I am going to get up and fish into my pocket for about 10 gold pieces and throw them in the offering plate, and I'm going to head toward the jail.
Well, I have a feeling we'll need to figure out who these mysterious strangers are next time.
Red Dirt D&D, Tales from the Caliban Frontier is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Macron Stonechaper, Johnny Payne as Xonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, Konnor Shenold as Konnor the Kobold, and I'm Michael Cross as Gideon Block. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of tabletopaudio.com and Monument Studios. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at reddirtdnd.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure and subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. We have several giving levels to help us grow up big and strong. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban Frontier.